This is a Netflix movie that I saw last year, that from summer, and it's Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. Yeah, I'm gonna finally watch this on Netflix. I got my tablet that I'm gonna watch it on. Got a new tablet. I'm gonna watch this right here, and let's get started. Hopefully this will work. It's a little slow, but I'll be able to watch it. This was actually much better movie than it should have been, because this movie had production hell. It went through production hell before it got to Netflix, because first it was going to be a TV show, and then, there's the music. There's Eddie Murphy. He still got it, man. Put the volume up. This was fun. A nice throwback to the first three. Is it better than three? Yes, definitely. John Ashton, may he rest in peace. He died right after this movie came out, so I don't think there should be a fifth one. Bronson Pinchot, he comes back, but later on in the film. And Kevin Bacon as the villain. And I'm glad that they kept this R, not PG-13. It's good to see Eddie Murphy back in a franchise that they didn't butcher this time. This is better than Coming to America. Because that was not on Netflix. That was on Amazon Prime. There's one thing in this movie that people hated more than the third one, and that's his daughter. Mark Malloy directed this one. It is different than the first three as well. It's not just callbacks and, the same jokes from the first three movies. It has some callbacks, but not everything is a callback. It's a hockey game. If you didn't see this movie, it's on Netflix, so what are you waiting for? This tablet is a little bit slow, but I can at least see the movie here. And this movie's under 2 hours. It's an hour and 48 minutes. I like hockey. I watch the Rangers games. This was 30 years after the third movie. So it took 30 years. Eddie Murphy definitely steals the show, because Aston and Judge Reinhold, they don't come until later in the movie. Because his boss is dead from the third movie, so he didn't come back. Teresa Randall's nowhere to be found because she retired. She didn't even come back to Bad Boys, so she was replaced. It's a fun movie. I think this is way better than four. I like some of this better than two as well. Two was funny, but the villain. I don't even remember who the villain was besides Jurgen Prochnow. There was also not Leslie Nielsen. What's her name? Um, not not Leslie Nielsen. What's her name? What's her name? Not Connie Nielsen. I'm drawing a blank. There's the theme. Again, yes, they say the N word in this. This is an R-rated movie. Yeah, Eddie Murphy proved that he still got it. What's her name? I forgot. From Red Sonja. What was her name? I'm gonna have to check. Hold on. There's so many Nielsens because you have Connie Nielsen, Leslie Nielsen, Bridget Nielsen. Yeah, she's not in this one. Yeah, I thought that was Kenan Thompson. It's not. It's an actor that looks like him. And this didn't look like a Netflix movie. You know how some Netflix movies look cheap? Yeah, this one did not. It's got a budget, like Red Notice, but it doesn't have a ton of CGI in it, which is great because a buddy cop movie doesn't need CGI. It doesn't need it because Bad Boys didn't have a lot of CGI in it either. Even the crocodile was a practical effect. This was fun to watch after 30 years. I needed to laugh, man. I had a really rough summer. There's Paul Reiser. Yeah, if you millennials will know him from Stranger Things, but I know him from Aliens and a bunch of stuff he did in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. Hey Salvatore, what's up? It's hard to believe it's already been a year since things came out. Yeah, time flies, man. Hold on. I'm glad this tablet works. It's just a little bit slow because it's an Android. It's not a Kindle Fire or an Apple, but it works. It's just the reception's a little slow, but that's the only problem I have. The sound is perfect. At least I can watch Netflix on this thing. Paul Reiser will always be Jeffrey from Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, he's also from Aliens. Was he in all three? No, he wasn't in three. I know that because he had Alex Hector Elizondo in the third one. This was a surprise for me. It was in my honorable mentions of last year. I like Bad Boys 4 a little bit more because it was theatrically released. Also, it didn't have an annoying girl in it. Granted, his daughter is sexy in this movie, but she is kind of a stick in the mud because she's not funny. She's just like kind of, stiff. Not, I don't blame the actors. It's just what they didn't give her much to work with. She's just tough black girl. That's all. It's fun. It's a nice throwback, like The Expendables was for action movies. This is fun. I wanted to do this one because since I did Bad Boys 4, I had to do another buddy cop movie, but that's a little shorter. Shakedown. You're busted. Yeah, there's a lot of nods to the other film. Beverly Hills Cop 4 should have gotten a theatrical release. Hell yeah, it should have been. This should have been released instead of all these Disney remakes. Just saying, like Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion for making the same movie, and this doesn't get theatrically released. I reckon the movie would have been a huge hit. Yeah, it would have been. It's because it's a nice throwback to the first three, and they brought back John Ashton before he passed away. Because I didn't do a podcast yesterday, so I needed a rest. It's a really good chase scene, by the way. Real cars, no CGI. They don't use CG, I think, until they get to the helicopter scene later in the film with him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But I get why they did that. But here it's it's a classic chase scene from the 80s and 90s. At least Netflix doesn't have any ads, because Tubi does. Jeffrey Friedman. And the thing is, Eddie Murphy looks younger than Paul Reiser. What is it with some guys that they go from like 40 to like 60? Their hair turns white. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want my hair to turn white. I'd rather just shave it off. I'll defend 3. Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure, 3. It's sillier, but this one is definitely better. Because it got away from all the cartoonish nonsense of the third one. Underrated sequel, it did something different. Yeah, Wonderworld is cute. It's like it's a ripoff of Disney. This one's like a mix of the first two, with a hint of some of the goofiness of 3, but it doesn't have anything cartoonish. And yes, I did see this on my computer last year. Sorry I didn't do a podcast for 2 days. I just needed a break. I had a very rough summer. Not the worst. 2020 is still the worst because I didn't go anywhere. I had to walk. But, I had some issues. Got an hour and 45 minutes, but that's with the end credits. When I get to the end credits, I'll stop. He had a daughter from Teresa Randall, who's never mentioned in this movie. They didn't even recast her. You saw that time in the first film, yeah. It works. At least the tablet works. That's all I wanted, because I needed a new tablet because, I had 2 other ones and they weren't working anymore. They used a real helicopter in part 4, no CGI. Oh, it was real? Okay, but there's some shots, I think, in the movie that are CG, just a little bit. It's not like Jungle Cruise or something where the CGI is absolutely terrible. That came out 3 years before this. Yeah, and it looked terrible. Like, the animals look like bad cartoons. Here she comes. The stick in the mud that a lot of people didn't care for. Good actress. Love looking at her. She can act. It's just that her writing is kind of a bit weak here. She's just a tough black chick. Because we get that in everything now. Every black woman has to be sassy or they have to be tough. Maybe if they do a 5th one, they could make her a little bit lighter and not make her such a stick in the mud. Just loading a little bit. Okay, hold on. This scene's not very important. There's not as many subtitles here as Bad Boys 3. Yeah, I miss John Ashton because he literally passed away right after this came out. It wasn't like a year later. Crazy it has his last movie considering Return to Taggart one last time before he passed. Yeah, he looked old, but at least he did it. At least he was able to act with Judge Reinhold and Eddie Murphy. At least they didn't wait too long. Because in 3, they said he retired, but no, he came out of retirement to do this movie. Yeah, I miss him a lot. But thanks, John Ashton. Thank you for all your performances and your tempers in these movies, in the first 2, and your sense of humor. Because he could have easily been a forgettable white character with a mustache, but no, people really like, at least he had a personality. He was 70 something. Yes, I know this black lady. She's a light-skinned black woman. She's been in a lot of stuff. I know she's a lawyer, but she has to be a little bit, was also in The Shooter, aka Hidden Assassin with Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, he also was in King Kong Lives. He did a bunch of stuff, yeah. I miss him a lot. But this is a nice send-off for him. At least he was able to do a Netflix movie before he died. Because he seemed like a decent man. He wasn't like an actor that got into trouble with the law like Rip Torn and a bunch of others. But I do miss him a lot. I don't want to repeat myself because, it's been a year of many losses this year. So many actors died this year. No one recently. The most recent was Terrence Stamp. COVID masks. Or Michael Myers. It looks more like a Michael Myers mask, except without the hair. Also, I'm glad that this movie came out at the perfect timing in the summer. Not the winter or anything. It has a budget, which is great because, sometimes a Netflix movie looks cheaper than a theatrical release. Look at that Electric State. It's a good stunt. Electric State looks like a bad CGI cartoon from like 2010 or something. $300 million to have a bunch of CGI. I'm like, Russos, we don't need it. You don't have to make everything look like a cartoon. This is Judge Reinhold, right? Ashton comes later in the film. We're about like 20 or 30 minutes in. There he is. Man, I miss him a lot too. At least we still have him. Because it's been 30 years. I mean, in the third one, he didn't have much to do. I can't believe that the first thing I saw him in was the Santa Claus when I was a kid. Because I didn't see Fast Times at Ridgemont High or Gremlins or any other movies until years later. Because again, I didn't know he did R-rated stuff when he was young. Yeah, Billy, it was good that they didn't kill him. And they don't kill them off like they do in Star Wars. They didn't bring back these old actors to kill them off. Because that would have pissed me off. That's what I was worried about because, sometimes you do legacy sequels and they make them be the villains or they kill them off. And don't do that. Don't disrespect the past. Keep it simple. Let them do something and have a nice callback to the past and that's it. Don't make them losers or kill them off because with Star Wars, that's what they did with Han, Leia, and Luke. And I'll never forgive them for that. Disney will never be forgiven. Axel. I wonder why they didn't bring back Hector Elizondo because he wasn't really that important in the third one. Love that character. No, they didn't bring him back because Elizondo was busy doing something else. Plus, he was too old. He's like, what, 80 now? He was older than Reinhold and Eddie Murphy. And I knew Kevin Bacon was the villain. He doesn't appear until like later in the film. Because Bronson Pinchot wasn't going to be the villain. I love seeing these actors come back together. It'll never happen again because, John Ashton passed. But at least we got one last shot with them. Turn. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Wonderworld song. Yeah. It's good to hear from you, Salvatore, because I didn't see you for days. My last podcast was, I think, Wednesday. Yeah. At least they give these characters something to do. Because Ashton, they knew he couldn't do like flips or anything, so he does something at the end. And Rosewood spends most of the movie kidnapped because he's old. I love these actors so much, man. Even the ones that we still have. Because Eddie Murphy's been a childhood favorite of mine since I was a kid. Because I heard his voice in Shrek when I was a teenager. I heard him in Mulan. I saw Daddy Daycare. Yeah, he does. Riser looks like he's 85 years old. I don't want to have gray hair. I'm sorry. John Landis might have not have been a perfect choice to direct it, but the action, yeah, he's not. Yeah, yeah, but still has good fun action sequences. It does. They're shot well. It has a budget. It's just that Eddie Murphy didn't want to be funny. He wanted to be a Wesley Snipes or an action star. Here, it's a mix of both. There's some good laughs, and the action is really well done. And they kept it R-rated. They didn't make it PG-13. Because there's been things cut that could have been cut from this movie, yes. Prenup. That's a clever get. What the hell is that? Yeah, I forgot about that. There's a model. We're 22 minutes in, so... Robots? Yeah, because machines are going to take over. I like it hot. Puppy, puppy! Tom Ford. An Arabic lady. No worries, she's not in the film much. Don't worry about your vanity in a car. Worry about driving. Axel Foley was always an action hero ever since the first one, but Eddie Murphy didn't want to be funny in the third one. Eddie wanted Axel to be more serious, yeah. But here he kind of like Metro, yeah. But I didn't see Metro because I don't like the British lady. At least there's no Brits in this movie, thank God. Because Beverly Hills Bad Boys 4 had a Welsh actor in it, and I'm just sick of them being in everything. So I do appreciate the Rambo 2 poster on the wall. Yeah, this is definitely not a PG-13. Because if it was, it would have been watered down. Yeah. Never watered down an R-rated franchise. Because they did that with Alien, Die Hard, Terminator, and a bunch of others. Where they make a PG-13 version and it's just not as good. I enjoyed Live Free or Die Hard, but it should have been R-rated. Yeah. Yeah, this and Deadpool and Wolverine have a lot of F-bombs in it. But again, it's not for kids. Let your kids watch Paw Patrol. That's for kids. That has a cop in it. A police dog. But this is not for kids. And I knew that. Even the first one back in the 80s is not. The first one was pretty short, though. It was like 90 minutes. This one's a little long. I think in the third act it gets a little bit... oh, yeah, this is funny. This made me laugh. See, all the black women in this movie are sassy or they're tough. He's maced him. What is this, the 90s? Poor Axel. Yeah, they do mess with him. He's just trying to do his job. Please stop spraying him. A pepper spray. Macing. Same thing. I guess how Axel got a daughter of the blue was maybe because of Teresa Randall. Exactly, but they don't mention her. And he didn't adopt her. They never explained who Axel's wife was. I wish they could explain. I get it. Because everything has to have a woman in it. Am I right? Even Superman had a couple of women in there that could have been cut. Mainly the engineer character. The soundtrack is a banger here. Hey, puppy wuppy. It's a good stunt. They really did this stunt. And suck it, Mission Impossible 8. You don't have to be almost 3 hours to get your point across. This movie's under 2. So, 3 hours. 3 hours to tell a story that could to tell a story that could have been done in 2. Yeah, Eddie still got it, man. He's the reason this worked. If they had recast Axel, it would have failed. If they had some British guy pretending to be Axel, it would have been a failure. Only explanation. Yeah, I get it, Salvatore, but my guess is that he had a fling with Teresa Randall and they had a baby and they never talked to him. It's fun, man. I haven't seen this movie in a year, but it still holds up. It's more enjoyable the second time around because some of the jokes I don't remember. I do remember this one with the cops. You saw the people with selfie sticks, yeah. Again. Oh yeah, here we go. I've been black along. Fisher Price. Lego cops. There's some good witty dialogue in this movie, man. And both of them are women. Again, 2024, guys. At least 4 made it to the top 5 Netflix charts. It did. There's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah. Last time I did a podcast with him was Angels in the Outfield, and I was crying like a fiend. Not this time. He's much older here. He's in his 40s now. He's like my age. He's a few years older than me. Still a great actor, man. Because I did The Dark Knight Rises, and I did Looper a long time ago, and then I just did Angels in the Outfield. So 87, wink, wink. Again, continuity. This movie has a... This is fun. I'm glad this tablet's not very big because I could hold it and hold the phone at the same time. Do you reckon a 48 Hours 3 Legacy could work? If they could get Nick Nolte back, because he's very old, guys. That's the problem. He was middle-aged when he did the first 2. I don't know if they should do it, though. Because they want Eddie Murphy to do another Shrek movie. They just did it. And they want to do a Donkey sequel. I'm like... Because like they did with the Puss in Boots movies. Time just goes so fast, man. Tomorrow I'm doing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's on Tubi, not Netflix, so it should work. It's a really good looking film. This black woman, while she's not she's the filler character in the movie because they have to give Axel a reason to go back, you know. She has a sexy voice, man. And again, it's my preference. It's not a fetish. It's a preference. Coming to America, I heard that was bad because it's just the same jokes and the actors are older and there's a PG-13, not an R. At least this they kept it. They kept it R. She hung up on him. Yeah, she tries to like cut him out of his life because he wasn't there for her. It's not a cell phone. Nobody uses a landline anymore. She could have been more fun, you know. Mar- Mary Elizabeth Mary Elizabeth Winstead was a much better tough character in Live Free or Die Hard, because while she wasn't talking to her dad, at least she wasn't a stick in the mud. She still had sass to her and, you know, a character. And while she does get captured, at least she's, you know, a capable character. She still does something in the movie. She's not a stick, a filler character. Because plus Lucy was in the first movie. She was just a little girl. Enriquez. Yeah, this and the Bad Boys movies have a lot of Spanish people in it. There's less here because, you know, it's um Beverly Hills is not really known for their Mexicans. It's mostly like Los Angeles. Coming to America didn't need a sequel. It had a great ending. Only sequels to Beverly Hills Cop in 48 hours. I don't want every Eddie Murphy movie to get a legacy sequel, because if it sucks, then it hurts the first movie. Ask Adam Sandler with Happy Gilmore 2. I'd rather watch this on a loop than watch Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore 2. You kill off Julie Bowen in the opening? Go screw yourself, writers. How dare you? You disrespect a blonde goddess like her and for a cheap laugh. At least they don't do that here. There he is. The late John Ashton. Thanks, man. Nothing but love. It's great to see. It makes me smile because he was such a good actor. At least you could remember his lines on like later years with Marlon Brando, where there he is, the villain of the movie, 32 minutes into the movie. Thanks, John Ashton. You're never going to be forgotten. Comedy sequels don't always work. Yeah, they don't, because I saw Wayne's World 2 and Bill has had Bogus Journey. They're not funny. They're not as funny as the first one. They're just not. This one is. Also, those are PG movies. Well, yeah, well, one is PG-13 and one is PG, and I didn't even laugh. Bogus Journey, I barely smiled. After the first 30 minutes, the movie just takes a nosedive. Once Bill and Ted die, the movie just becomes convoluted in a cartoon. I streamed it on YouTube, and I was just not having it. It was weak. I'll see Face the Music, but I'm not expecting much. The villain is white? Gasp. At least they didn't make Taggart the villain. That would have sucked. Oh yeah, I just remember no Bogomil in part 4. Ronnie Cox, yeah, well, Ronnie Cox was too old. The first time I saw this girl was in High School Musical 3. Yeah, she was one of the girls dancing with Ryan, and I want it all. She has the hat, the cat ears, and the blonde wig, and the pink wig. Serge comes back. Yeah, it's fun. Bronson Pinchot was good to see him. He colored his hair for some reason, because in the first two, in the first movie and the third movie, he has dark hair. This one he has blonde streaks for some reason. She has a dot on her face. With a woman like you, yes. Absolutely. We all have preferences. I read originally Serge was supposed to return for 2, but Bronson Pinchot was doing Perfect Strangers, so he was too busy. But Bronson Pinchot was busy doing the show, yeah. I love to see stuff on Netflix because there's no ads. Netflix only puts ads on their live streams. That's it. But here they don't. The movies are just completely ad free because Netflix won't bow to the man. It's expensive, but it's worth having because Tubi has ads. Disney Plus, they added ads. Hulu has ads. Uh, Peacock and Max have ads now. It's ridiculous. Another Mary J. Blige song from, yeah, I did Undercover Brother. This song was here too. It is hard and long. Remember Undercover Brother when Chris Kattan was? Yeah, they cut it off. Here they don't. See, she's a stick in the mud. She doesn't want to. She does. She barely smiles in this movie. Owns Axel Foley. Yeah, nobody can recast him because there's some actors that just embody the character, and you can't make them. You can't just recast them. Like Han Solo or Indiana Jones, Axel Foley. Uh, whatchamacallit, Inspector Gadget. Yeah, you just can't do it. Sorry. Sometimes there's a new interpretation, but others you can't replace them. Darth Vader you can replace. You just can't replace James Earl Jones' voice. That's all, because his voice was Darth Vader, and Mufasa. That's why the new Mufasa didn't make a billion because you don't have James Earl Jones there because he passed away. He died the same year as John Ashton. But they lived long lives, so at least they didn't die young. Julian McMahon was only in his 50s when he passed from cancer. I really miss him, man. I can't believe that he died this year. But again, I'm still living. I'm going to keep going, guys. I'm not going to take a long hiatus again. Tomorrow I'm doing Aquaman 2. We all need therapy after after this 5 years. At least my stomach is better now. I'm not going to have a munchkin again. You can't recast Rocky. Yeah, Rocky, Rambo, John McClane, Paul Kersey. That's all. Yeah, Death Wish. Martin Riggs, Mad Max, Sturdy Harry. Yeah, you can. Even with female characters. You can recast Wonder Woman because you can have a new take. There's Arnold. Oh, yeah, this scene. This scene is kind of a filler. That movie was horrible. Jupiter Ascending. A gay guy. Why? Because Netflix has to put that quota. Tech 5. No. I didn't like the movie. Channing Tatum, yeah. That's as a cameo. You, you didn't see the movie. Yeah, Mila Kunis was not good in the movie. Yeah, he was a cameo in that movie. Snake Plissken, that's another one. Yeah, the Terminator, it depends. Arnold's version you can't recast. Luke Devereaux, who's that? Also, Deadpool. Good luck trying to recast him because Ryan Reynolds is perfect. You cannot recast him. Wolverine, you can. Once Jackman is done, I think if they do a new X-Men, they can get somebody short that can play Wolverine, who's Canadian, because he's Canadian, not Australian. Just Even though, you know, Jackman is the best cinematic Wolverine, let's face it. That's why they didn't recast him. Cinematic Wolverine. Comic book Wolverine, we'll get to that because we still got the animated series of X-Men 97. They recast Wolverine because that's the comic book version of Wolverine. But with Deadpool and Wolverine, they nailed the costume. Like that yellow outfit. When I saw that in the theater, I had a nerdgasm because I'm like, they finally made the. They said it would never happen, and it did. Oh, Universal Soldier, yeah. They did those TV movies, but again, those don't count. They're non-canon. Luke Devereaux, yeah, I forgot. I haven't done a Universal Soldier movie. I haven't done the original. I have to do the original sometime in September. I did The Return, which is the last one Van Damme cared about doing. Because he did those other ones, Regeneration and all that. I didn't care about that. 41 minutes in. James Bond, no, they can recast them because they've worked. There's been a there's been a lot of Bonds that were not. Connery is still one of the best ones, but I did like Timothy Dalton is my favorite personally. I like Brosnan. Craig had his moments. I just thought he was too serious. I like Roger Moore. Didn't care for Lazenby, but that was just one time that I think it failed, in my opinion. Lazenby was the only Bond I thought was just kind of flat and didn't have any personality at all. He's just going through the motions. He was like a Connery replacement. Ah, oh my arm. Yeah, Jupiter Ascending. I hated that movie. It was just so bad. It was like Force Awakens if it was on track, because it had no plot. It was just convoluted. Lie down a little bit. Ah, I can still see the movie on my tablet. I don't want my legs to fall asleep. This black woman has a sexy voice. I'll give her that. James Bond has worked. I think that don't cast Henry Cavill. He's box office poison right now. Or Idris Elba. Get somebody younger that cares to be Bond. Hold on. At least it's working now. Yeah, I remember Star-Lord did that in Guardians of the Galaxy. You thought of doing commentaries on the Death Wish movies? I don't own any of the Death Wish movies. If I could stream them, I will. But just the first five. I'm not doing. I'm never doing the remake because I heard Bruce Willis was sleepwalking in that, and it's just mean spirit because Eli Roth hasn't made a good movie in years. If he's ever done a good movie. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I remember that. Eddie Murphy he's giving it his A game here, man. See, there's the smile. See, she cracked a smile. That's one of the few scenes in the movie where she's like, "Okay, you got me." We needed more of that, please. I don't want some, a black woman that's just tough. I want her to be tough, but I wanted to have a personality too. Beverly's Cop didn't need, Death Wish never needed a remake because it peaked with the fourth one. Yeah, this is I think the only Brit in the movie, but he's not a major character. We're 45 minutes in. This feels like thing that Netflix had to put, minorities because, it's a very diverse world. But this stars a black man. Why do you need any more diversity in the movie? Netflix. You don't need it. Stop being like Disney and try to fill a quota because some movies don't need diversity. They don't. Because it's forced and then it ruins the movie. Diverse casting doesn't mean the movie's gonna work. Look at Elio. That was a major flop. It had an Asian kid and the movie bombed. And that was a Pixar movie. Yet this movie didn't bomb. It was a huge hit on streaming. It just proves that Disney can pump all the diversity they want. If you don't have a good script or a character that people care about, you're gonna fail. Death Wish remake should have been called another title. Yeah, like Death Vengeance or something. I don't know. Excuse me. I already knew Kevin Bacon was a villain. Him and Ewan Grufford from Bad Boys 4. I knew they were gonna be the villains. I love listening to her, even though her character's a stick in the mud. Her voice is really sexy, man. It's like a sultry voice. It's not a Kristen Wiig, but it's also belated birthday, Kristen Wiig. Are Death Wish movies hard to find in an area? No, it's just that I had the full screen versions of 2, 3, and 4, so only the Blu-rays are widescreen of 2, 3, and 4. 5 I could watch on streaming. They have it on like MGM Plus and all that. She has a Vivica Fox type of voice, and that's sexy to me. If she was more fun, I think the movie would have been better. But it is better than 3, only because, it's still funny. And I don't need a Rush Hour 4. Jackie Chan says he didn't care for those movies because they were too commercial and it didn't let him be himself. He had to adapt to the culture, and he's like, yeah, that's not my thing. I'd like to do my own thing in China or Hong Kong, not work with a black man that sounds like a helium version of Daffy Duck. 4 is your favorite. My favorite's 3. 3 is so awesome. Cannon did it, and it's one of the best action movies of the 80s. Very underrated. Because I saw that third act, I was like, this is way better than a lot of action movies today, where it's not a CGI cartoon. Because Charles Bronson, even at an old age, he could still beat you up better than any 30-year-old in the industry today. It's 9:21, so a.m. Yeah, this has a lot of copyrighted music. That's why I'm using headphones. At least it's working. Because digital copies I have to watch on my tablet or my laptop. Or on my Switch if it's on YouTube. I get it. 3 is probably my second favorite, The West Wish. I agree that it is a sequel. A lot of people's favorite of the franchise, yeah. Because the first one's just too depressing. They They attack his daughter and his wife, and then they kill them off. Yeah, it's too mean spirited. Uh, 3 is him, killing all these criminals in the streets, and it's awesome. Except for the Spanish in it, I think the movie is amazing. See, she's mad because he wasn't there. I get it. Hey, Angelina Jolie went through the same thing with her father. That's why when she had kids, she didn't want her kids near John Boy. Family drama, I get it. Trust me. This whole summer, I went through family drama with my family too. Charles Bronson and Cannon's in their prime. Well, he wasn't in his prime in the 80s, but he was in his prime in like the 50s. Peeking away. Man, this woman also has a sexy voice. $940. What is this? A Disney resort? That's what it's more in a Disney resort. $940. Jeez, I could go to Days Inn for like $100 for a night compared to that. Hotels should not be that expensive. That's almost a month's rent. We're 52 minutes in, so. Death Wish 5 didn't deserve a 0%. No, I've seen way worse. They're not always accurate. They're not accurate at all. I'm never going to take them seriously because they like Ghostbusters 2016. Also, they liked Fantastic Four: The First Steps, and the movie flopped. Well, actually, it didn't flop, but it didn't make the money they thought it was going to make. Superman made more because it's better. Superman was actually good and emotional and had heart to it and didn't have a bunch of bad castings. The worst casting was Nicholas Hoult, because you know why. Lex Luthor's supposed to be older than Superman, not 3 years older than him. He's not, he's a cop. Okay, that was a funny line that she gave. Coincidental, Axel references Charles Bronson when on the phone, and yeah, he does, but because Bronson was still alive. Kids don't know who he is. If you tell them who Charles Bronson is, and Bronson, who's that? Kids know Eddie Murphy from his voice work. That suit is cool. It is. There's Ashton. Another scene with John Ashton. Yeah, again, I remember Blockbuster. I miss it a lot because I used to love renting movies there and video games. I bought a lot of films there, used and brand new. Yeah, he passed away in 2003. Yeah, I almost did too. I had pneumonia. At least my dog's gonna get groomed today, so she doesn't have to look like a fuzzy mop. Mm-hmm. So a movie theater. Another coincidence, John Asher was in the Bronson movie called Borderline. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. The action sequences are really good, and when they're on screen, they have a thrill. They have a kick to them. And I'm glad Netflix didn't waste a ton of money on CGI because I'm like, you don't need it. A comedy doesn't need CGI unless it's animated, like The Bad Guys or The Bad Guys 2, which did okay, but it was in a summer filled chock full of way too many sequels. We got too many sequels this year, guys. Too many sequels and too many remakes. And I'm not counting Superman. That's a reboot, not a remake or a sequel. It's its own thing. It's not a copy. But we had sequels like, we had remakes like How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch, and then we had sequels to Freaky Friday and Nobody. I mean, Nobody too. I heard was okay. 30. She's in her 30s now, and the girl who played Jenny Summers in Beverly Hills Cop was Bronson's daughter. Yeah, she's not in this movie. 10 to midnight. Yeah, there's a lot of movies I missed, Salvatore. I'm going to try to look for them on Facebook, on 2B. Good action scene. They really did that stunt. Coincidence after coincidence, yeah. In Hollywood, there are coincidences, and some of them are not coincidences. Yeah, Mexican guy with tattoos on his face. You couldn't be more subtle if you tried, Hollywood. We get it. Even though this is Beverly Hills, not Los Angeles or Miami. A Chihuahua. Coincidence Death Wish 3 was 1985. Yeah, it is my year. I didn't see it back then. I was too young to see it in 1985. I saw it when I was in college. They look like they look like Post Malone with all those tattoos on their faces. Why would you want to put ink in their face? Not me. Gotcha. Good job. See, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. At least he's a new character that actually adds to the movie. He doesn't take away. Because he has a really cool scene with Axel later in the film, with the helicopter scene. Because it's funny and it's pretty thrilling. Yeah. He has the same face from Angels in the Outfield, except he has facial hair now. And he's a good actor because he's been in Inception, Looper. He wasn't the problem with the movie. I just hated Emily Blunt and her X-Men child. That took me out of the movie because it didn't fit in the movie. It's supposed to be a time travel movie, and you have an X-Men kid. Why? You're not X-Men or New Mutants or any of that. And stop doing an American accent. You can't do it, Emily Blunt. That's why you didn't get cast in Fantastic Four. I'm sick of Brits taking all our roles. Sick of it. After Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch, we don't need any more. We're an hour in. The movie's almost over. You mean Banditos? Puppy whoopee! I better stretch out because I have to walk a lot today. I've been binge watching Miami Vice, the show. So many guest stars have appeared in Beverly Hills Cop movies, especially Ellis DeWolf. Oh, he cracks me up because he's the one villain that gets under Foley's skin. Kevin Bacon's just kind of a generic villain here. His performance is good, it's just not in the film too much. Yeah, Judge Reinhold disappears until the third act of the movie. Yeah, he got captured. Because they're not going to capture the black girl. Because they're like, hey, that's sexist because you have to catch her. The first three villains are better, yeah. Victor Maitland was a terrific villain. Steve Burkoff should have been more. He was in Octopussy, yeah. Rambo 2 and Legionnaire. At least Comic-Con's in a couple of weeks. I can't wait to go to it. I'm glad August is almost over because August is too long. 31 days is a lot, guys. Back-to-back months of 31 days, it feels endless because December and January, 31 days. July and August, 31 days. At least September's only 30 days and October's 31, but at least I have stuff to look forward to in October. Bronson Pinchot takes a long time to get into the movie, like halfway through the movie. We're 63 minutes in and he hasn't showed up yet. I'm not gonna eat chocolate for a month because those munchkins almost destroyed my stomach last night. No way I'm gonna eat any more of those. I'm already fat. I'm 205 pounds. I need to lose some weight today. I'm gonna take a nice long walk and drink water. No more ice cream. No more cookies. None of that. I have to cut sugar out of my diet for a while. I'm only gonna drink juice, and that's it. Yep, Bronson Pinchot, finally. It's better than yours. It's right. Here he comes. Serge! Hey, there he is. I love this actor so much, Bronson Pinchot. Serge! Why does he have blonde hair like Donald Trump? I don't know. Yeah, he still looks great for his age. He's flamboyant, but he's so good, man. He's such a good actor, man. He does all these accents and he doesn't have an accent. If you've seen the Langoliers, he doesn't have an accent in that. Habit. He's fun to watch, man. I miss him a lot, man. He's one of the few characters that's flamboyant, that's fun. Him and Hollywood from Mannequin. Because they have a personality. Chemistry? Look at him. Yeah, it's so good, man. I love Bronson Pinchot. He's a fun actor, right? Ah, well. Yeah, I hope he lives to be 100. He's so funny, man. He's a good voice actor, and he's just funny. You saw she smiled. Yeah, he's so funny, man. I do like his shirt. He's a fun character. Like I'm glad they brought him back. Serge. It's got an accent. Oh yes, this woman. She was in Despicable Me 2. She was also in Aladdin, the remake. She's gorgeous, man. She's Middle Eastern, Josh. Yeah, she's married to a white guy, I think. She has a nice voice. I like her voice. Little. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is taller than her and older. You could tell he's in his 40s. Yeah. I have a I have an I have a niece. I have a niece, but I can't kiss her until she gets all her vaccinations. But I'm gonna get my vaccinations in the fall. I'm getting my flu shot. I don't want to be sick. Her voice is also sexy. These women in this movie have very sexy voices. There's no annoying. I cannot. Yeah, again, that's from the first movie and the third movie. He's great. Yeah, that's a really cool, expensive place, man. It's a mansion with a fountain and everything. Like I said, this movie has a budget. It's not an asylum budget, but it's not a $200 million budget like all these horrible CGI cartoons that we get in the theater, and they call them cinema. No, they're a demo reel for a 4K TV. That's what they are. Yeah, I was fun. It was happy. I was happy to see Serge again. She's she's so cute. You saw a statue with a penis again. Oh, it's Tarantino. Okay, so you dated Tarantino. He likes feet. Serge, never stop being yourself, Bronson Pinchot. I would love to see him at the convention. He could sign one of my DVDs. He's just so much fun, man. You never know. Comic Con, they haven't announced everybody. There's still another month to go. See, this is one of the few scenes he has for personality. Mm, chocolate. Mm. I'm gonna marry a black girl one day, or an Asian girl. Yeah, that was kind of cringe, but it's too expensive. This place must cost like $90,000 or something. Because Kevin Bacon was also the bad guy in R.I.P.D. with Ryan Reynolds. So I'm glad I downloaded Netflix on this thing. I had to, because I want to watch Netflix on a device besides my laptop and the TV. I watched Monday Night Raw here. Well, I don't have to see Raw next week because it's going to be on in the UK. So it's going to be 3 hours. It's going to be 5 hours earlier, so I can wait. Because I don't watch Raw in the middle of the afternoon. That's weird. Cholino. He's the main character. This is called Axel F. It's his movie. It's his franchise. See, she's a stick in the mud. She should be more, I don't know, peppy. You could be tough but still be peppy and have a personality. Just family issues. You don't you don't need that in a comedy. This is why the Garfield movie failed last year. Because I'm not going to go to the library next week because next week the library is closed because of Labor Day weekend. So they acknowledge Saturday and Sunday as Labor Day weekend, so that it's closed. I'm going today so I could just relax a little bit, and then I'm going to walk to the train station. The movie's almost over. We're an hour and 13 minutes in. We got about 30 minutes left. Yeah, 30 some minutes. Oh, this is with Luis Guzman. He has a cameo here. He was Gomez Adams in Wednesday. There he is. I don't know this nothing but Mexican banditos in this movie. Even though Luis Guzman is Puerto Rican. Look at him. Cholino is not Mexican. He's a Puerto Rican. It's a good actor, Luis Guzman. He could be funny. Yeah, he has to make a scene. Yeah, the way he talks, yeah, you could tell he's Puerto Rican. Like he's. I'll do the game plan eventually. If I don't do it this month, I'll do it in September before Hispanic Heritage Month, which is the 15th. So I'll do that one in Spider Verse, but not this weekend. I'm not a poppy yet. I'm only an uncle, and I'm a guardian to my dog. I can shut this off for now because I'm leaving soon, anyways. 76 minutes in. Because this scene was in Bad Boys 4, but it was with Tiffany Haddish. It, it, I saw him at the on Monday Night Raw about a month ago. Well, yeah, almost a month ago. Uh-oh. It's a setup. It's a setup because Gavin Bacon gets him arrested. They didn't do anything. They were set up. See, you didn't have to taser them. It is a setup because they were not. He put the drugs in there. Well, I got to get my stuff ready to leave after this is done. I wanted to do this early so I don't have to do this in the afternoon. Hmm. Yeah, he has been shot. The third movie, his arm was busted. I don't want to get shot. And I've heard gunshots in this area many times on New Year's. I stay in my house. I'm safe here. 80 minutes in. It's a little long. I think if they cut 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, it would have been 98 minutes. It would have been fine. There's some scenes that could have been trimmed, like the scene with that Jupiter ascending guy that could have been cut. or the scene with the Enrique guy in the beginning. We don't care about him. He's just a plot device. He could have been cut too. Just to they should have released this on DVD because it was released on streaming, but unlike the first three movies where they were on streaming and physical media, this was not. Some Netflix movies do get released on DVD or shows like Stranger Things. 5 minutes to 10. At least I didn't have to deal with trolls today. I didn't want to deal with any trolls. That's why I did this early in the morning. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's a fun movie. Yes, I recommend watching it. If you've seen the first three movies, watch this one. And I don't think I need a fifth one because if they do a fifth one, they have to make the daughter more lighthearted. And Taggart's gone, so there's no way you could bring him back. The roof scene, yeah, this is the helicopter scene. Helicopter scene. It is. Oh, this is different. There was no helicopter in the first three films. They couldn't do a plane because I guess that's a bigger budget, so they use a helicopter. Spirit Airlines. That's plane. It's hard to ride a helicopter because it's faster than a plane. Yeah. So did Tom Cruise. Yeah. It's a great scene. Probably one of the highlights of the film. It's like a ride. This would be an awesome ride at Universal or something. These are Universal movies, no, they're Paramount movies actually. The first three movies. 85 minutes. This was worth it to watch again. At least it's not 2 hours. So they really did this stunt. That's why the helicopter's on the ground. It's not up in the air because these guys are not pilots. Really good scene because nowadays they would just make this CGI like in Fast X. See, this scene is good because the daughter's not in this scene. Yeah, Eddie Murphy's just great, man. He makes the movie work. Him and his witty dialogue, just it's rapid fire, man. He still got it, man. And unlike Bruce Willis, he didn't do a bunch of bad direct to video or direct to streaming movies. He did one or two, but this one was definitely worth it. They didn't steal it. It was there already. I need some water. I haven't drank water in over an hour, so. They do crash, but they don't die. They let See, they really did this, so it wasn't CGI. I do appreciate this movie. At least a real land, a safe landing is better than no landing, right? Look who's there, Christopher McDonald. Yeah, another great cameo, and it's not Happy Gilmore too. Hey, Christopher McDonald. Yeah, good actor. Shooter McGavin from the first Happy Gilmore. Yeah, stop wasting this actor's talent, Netflix. Because here they gave him a nice cameo. It's a nice nod to his character from Happy Gilmore 2, and he has a funny scene. It's called a golf cart. That was funny. Yeah, see, it's a cameo. It's quick, and it was funny. This is another cameo. Yeah, he's doing a British accent. Why? You're not Idris Elba. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like there's a lot of cameos in the movie, but it's not like 55 of them. There's only a couple. Yeah, McDonald is a cameo, and even Bronson Pinchot is like an extended cameo. He's not in the film that much. 10 o'clock. At least the library is finally open, so I don't have to wait. Yeah, we all cared about you, John Ashton. I'm glad you were able to do this before you died. Because if he didn't do it, it wouldn't have been the same. Because he's a major part of the movie. He's not just a cameo or fan service. 90 minutes in, yeah, we're almost done. We got about 15 minutes left, or 15 to 20 minutes. And the last action scene is a nice is a nice nod. I'm glad I did this early because I wanted to do this because I took 2 days off. I didn't want to take a day off yesterday. I was just very stressed out, you know? Sunset Point. Yeah, Reinhold kind of disappears in the movie until this part of the movie. He gets captured and you don't see him until the third act where he's tied up to a chair. But at least they didn't kill him off. If they did, I would have been really pissed off. I'm like, you brought Judge Reinhold back for to kill him off? No, I would have been so upset. I would have shut it off if they had done that. The movie's almost over, guys. Sorry, Josh couldn't join, but he probably still sleeping because it's 9 o'clock in the morning over there in Tennessee. There he is. You saw those statues? Yep, got him. 92 minutes in, we get Judge Reinhold back in the movie. We know he couldn't do a lot of stunts because he's older now. Yeah, Billy gets to do something. Yeah, yeah, we did. At least when this movie's over, I can leave. My stomach feels a lot better than yesterday because oh my god, it was a mess yesterday. Stupid munchkins. Why did I have to be lactose intolerant? If only I was, if I was only breastfed when I was a kid and I wasn't lactose intolerant, I would have had a much stronger stomach when it comes to dairy. But I'm gonna avoid dairy today. I did the first three movies last year, so I took my time with this one. I wanted to get a tablet. It's almost done. After this, I got to shut the tablet off so I could conserve a battery. That's a real explosion, by the way. Jane is captured. That nice house. It comes back into the film. All those statues. Mm, Paul Reiser comes back. Paul Reiser, yeah, comes back into the film. I could put this away. I could post this. Yeah, again, that was a big saying during the pandemic. Stay safe or be safe. Yeah. Yep, they're the cops. Yeah, remember the first movie? It's a really good movie. It's a surprise how good it was because this had went through a lot for over 30 years. It was in developmental hell, and when it finally got made, I was so grateful for it because I got to live to see it. And while the woman does get captured here, it's not sexist. She's not a superhero in this movie. Well, I gotta put some sunscreen on. It's not gonna be 90 today, but it's still baby cakes. Mario dinosaur. He has blue eyes. I haven't done a Kevin Bacon movie since Footloose. Good movie, but too long. Like there's scenes that could have been trimmed out. This film is a comedy. It just should have been over already. I think they just some scenes that could have been trimmed for pacing. Not Bronson Pinchot's scene. He's fun because you know he's from the first movie and the third movie. But here's the thing. That's an awesome stunt. Truck right through the door. Mm. Time for the final action scene. The first movie would have been over already. The first movie was about 90 something minutes, which is long enough. These movies don't have to be an hour and 45 minutes or something like that. There's some filler in it. It's not perfect, but it's still a fun sequel. It should have been in the theaters. Oh yeah. Good stuff, man. Not nothing Oscar worthy, but something fun. That's for adults, not for kids. Because too many movies are for trying to pander to children, and this is not. This isn't one of them. Of course, the drug dealers are Hispanic. What else could they be? They're not going to make them Asians. No more. There's Taggart. Yeah. Yes, sir. Taggart finally. Yeah, it's good to see them together. Again, foreshadowing, unfortunately. Thankfully, John Ashton was able to do this movie and not use CGI to bring him back to life like Ian Holm in Alien Romulus. That was just egregious. That easily could have been cut. I got to review that next week, Alien Romulus. Nice. Yeah, the black girl doesn't do anything at the end. I think she does like one thing and that's it. Mm, at least it's not 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, because with Bad Boys 2, it was way too long. It was like 20 minutes longer than it should have been. Because they had to give the villain a backstory, which was not needed. I don't want to know what the villain is thinking in an action movie because it's filler. Mm. And where are the subtitles? They don't put any subtitles in this movie. There was one scene that was subtitled in the beginning of the film with Enriquez, and then the rest of the movie, yeah, that's the only thing she does. She hits a guy with a with an urn or a vase, whatever. Gotcha. I think some of the blood squibs are CGI. That's the only thing that's CG in the film. It's like a CG puff of smoke of blood, because they can't do that practically anymore for some reason. Just like John Wick, but this movie's way shorter than John Wick 4. Mm-hmm. Got him. Yeah, that looks like CG a little bit. Here we go. Axel took a bullet for her, but he doesn't die. So, yep, right in the head. Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets the final kill, so it's good to give him his moment. He took a bullet for her, just like in the third movie. Yeah, I'm glad that they don't kill off Eddie Murphy. That would have been the biggest middle finger to the franchise. At least they were able to patch things up before he passed away. No, he's okay. If this couldn't kill him, nothing can. Hmm. The movie's almost over, so I'm glad that I got to do this, guys, because I needed some kind of escape after what the last 2 days I've had. You don't want to eat that hospital food again. Norms. Because does this and Bad Boys need a fifth movie? I don't know. I don't think we do. Because I don't want them to press their luck and then they do a movie that's completely forced. Look what happened with Die Hard when they got to the fifth movie. A lot of people hated it. An hour and 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Hmm. It's not. He's not 83. Not yet. And they have one final scene with the three guys. Here comes the final scene of the movie. A few days later, the three guys back together in the same car for one final. So this is the ending of the movie. This would have been the Marvel stinger if this was. Life is too short, guys. Don't waste it complaining. Do something about it. Live it fully. Yeah. Thanks, Son Ashton. Nothing but respect, man. Rest in peace. That was fun. An hour and 49 minutes. Yeah, it's a little long, but it could have been a lot shorter. Like I said, just that was Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, Salvatore, he was one of the only ones that did acknowledge me, and tomorrow I'll be doing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Stay tuned for that. See you later.